VIGILANT Broadcasting, the station of opportunity, presents The Chronicles of Doing Too Much with your host, Angel Riley.
Hello, and good evening, everyone. It is your host, the one and only Angel L. Riley, and I hope you guys are having a great kickoff to this week. I am so pumped up and excited to start the next series of discussions for our show. We went through the hard stuff, guys. You know, the last couple of weeks, we just went through the really tough discussions about removing toxicity from our lives, about building our personal board of directors, and owning our own truth. Like, that has been really tough situations. We talked about the importance of seeking professional help when needed. And now we are just at a spot in our life where we are all about our full development. We are all about living our best life. We are all about getting rid of the baggage that we have and we may not even known we had. So I want you guys to go ahead, light your candles. I have limoncello lit again tonight. I love the smell of lemon. Light your candles, get your cup of tea or your glass of wine or even your cocktail, whatever you have to relax. And I want you to sit back and enjoy tonight's show. Get your pen and pad because we're going to talk about not a fun topic, but a serious topic. And the serious topic tonight is when to know you need to make a power move. Oh my gosh, that just got me so excited just saying that. When to know you need to make a power move. And let me tell y'all, I've made a few power moves all within like the last 10 years of my life. And the great thing about it, maybe it's the crazy thing about it, I didn't realize I was making a power move. You know, so first we're going to go with the definition of power move. And I love, to cite my sources to make sure you guys know that I'm not the only person that comes up with this stuff. But I found an article on one of my favorite blogs, Life Hacks. And the article was written back in 2014 by Stephanie St. Clair. And I think she defines a power move perfectly. It is so succinct and accurate. So I want you guys to write down just in case you need to understand and know what a power move is. So you know when you're making one or when you need to make one. All right. So a power move. A power move is used in a situation where you're out of options. The power move has you doing something that seems crazy, but helps you bypass improving and takes you straight to evolving. A power move is not reasonable, and that's the whole point. Let me repeat that because I want to be sure that you all got that definition written down accurately. And just write out power move. And I'm the queen of Post-it notes. You'll always see different Post-it notes all throughout my home, in my office. I write down different quotes on the Post-it notes just for inspiration. I write reminders on a Post-it note. It's so funny because I'm in my home. It has the Amazon products in my home, and they came to install the Amazon products. I'm like, oh, I wonder if my Echo can record some of my sayings and my Post-it notes. So I might be saving a couple of Post-it note trees and let my Echo take care of it. So I can't say that magic word, as otherwise we'll have a special guest on tonight's show. But let me go back to define a power move for you again. A power move is used in a situation where you're out of options. The power move has you doing something that seems crazy, but helps you bypass improving and takes you straight to evolving. A power move is not reasonable, and that's the point. That's a power move. You know, having this broadcast, coming here twice a week for 30 minutes and broadcasting live is a power move for me. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I'm learning as we go. This was something that I just felt that it was ordained by God at the timing of when the station owner talked about this opportunity. When I had a discussion with the station owner, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Let's just do it. That this was a power move, and I'm happy I did it. I was out of options as to what was going to be the next level. What was the next step? What was the next, point in the plan? What was the next goal for the Chronicles of Doing Too Much? And now we're here on a worldwide internet broadcasting station. That's a power move. That was a power move for the brand. And a power move for something that means a lot to me. A power move that I know is designed to be on even a bigger platform than what we are right now. I'm telling you guys, this is a power move and it's amazing and it's crazy. It is crazy. And so I'm going to continue to read through this blog post here because I think that it really puts into perspective, some things that you need to do when, or maybe some signs, not things you need to do, more along the lines of signs that it's time for you to make a power move. All right, you're out of a job. It says a power move is not more of what you've already been doing, as in like applying for a job with more focus or frequency. A power move is not like rewriting your cover letter or tweaking a resume. A power move is I'm going to sell that old engagement ring I have and I'm going to hire a business coach. A power move is I'm going to take a temporary job at the McDonald's so I can have some income coming in. A power move is starting your own business. When your back is up against the wall and you have no other choice, it's either you're going to sink or you're going to swim. That's a power move. When you make a power move, and I'm going to read it exactly as she has it in this article, a power move says to your circumstances, you will not swing me by the tail anymore. So get rid of that depression. Get rid of those toxic behaviors. Get rid of those toxic people that we have relationships with. Get rid of all of that. It's time to make a power move. It's time to say, I'm going to step out on faith. I'm going to trust God completely. My faith is bigger than a mustard seed because it's time for me to do a power move. Do a power move. So you got to think about what you did. What did they say? The definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. I love that definition of insanity. If you're doing the same thing continuously, why do you think you're going to get different results? Why do you think there's the importance of whenever you do anything, whether it's in your career or in your business or even in your home life, that you do an outbrief, you do an assessment, you stay flexible, you make those tweaks. You say, oh, that didn't work too much. Prime example, in the kitchen. I'm trying to get off of eating a lot of beef, even though I love a nice steak. Filet mignon is my favorite and will maintain and continue to be. But I'm trying to get away from eating a lot of beef and kind of minimizing how much pork I eat. So I'm exploring with turkey. And sometimes, because I'm not good with turkey, I can overcook it and it'll come out dry and quite frankly taste like cat food. All right, I hate to say it. I don't know what cat food tastes like, but with some of my older turkey recipes, that's what cat food would taste like. So it was one of those things where I was insane. I'm using the same ingredients to make a turkey burger. I'm using the same ingredients and expecting it to taste differently. But then when I finally came to my good senses and looked up a recipe online and used different ingredients, then I can make a nice, delicious turkey burger. I can now make a turkey chop that you can't tell that it's a turkey chop and not a pork chop. But it took me to have to try to do something different. But for a long time, I wasn't doing anything different, and I was just doing what I would think cat food tastes like with cooking turkey. And I know that sounds like an off analogy, but I wanted to give you something really kind of serious to think about the importance of debriefing, staying flexible, trying different things, because we're not going to be insane. We're not going to keep running around in circles. We're going to do something that's bold. We're going to do something that's scary. We're going to do something like we're going to either sink or swim. It is time to make that power move. So this is how you start to know. Here are 4 steps when you know it's time for you to make that power move. 4 signs, not even steps. I'll give you all the steps at the end. There are 4 signs that you will notice when you know it's time for you to make that power move, when you know this is the absolute right minute, when you know your back is up against the wall and you're going to either sink or swim, so why not just go ahead and say, God, I know you got me. Let's go. That was real urban right there. But I'm telling you, that's how me and the God talk. I'm like, God, I know you got me on this. I know you got me. Right? So 1, you're not creative. You're not creative. And everything that you're doing, it's kind of like it's starving. Like you've lost your creativity. I made a power move. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area in the United States. Been here most of my life. We lived in Nebraska for a little bit when I was young. I went to college in West Virginia. But what I know is home is the Washington, D.C. area. I was in a great job, but still, with the same company, great job, doing well, but I was losing all creativity. Nothing against the job, nothing against the company. It's just that it wasn't. I ran my course in that career, 17 years, 17 years. So the power move I made. I said goodbye, 17-year career. The company put me into a new position that's doing something I've never done before, knew nothing about, and it was a 2-year position with no job at the end, and they moved me from Washington, D.C. to the Dallas, Texas area, and I've only been to that Dallas, Texas area before I moved there, probably about somewhere between 4 to 6 hours total ever. When I went for the interview, it was the longest I've ever been in that Dallas-Fort Worth area. That was a power move because I knew I lost all creativity. I was starving in my creativity, and it was starting to develop this toxic environment in my workplace that really wasn't necessary. It was because I had run my course in that job. I had run my course in that career. So I made a power move. And I packed up everything, went by myself, went to Texas, and 20 months later, I got a permanent job, and they pulled me back here to Washington, D.C. with a promotion, doing the exact same thing with a lot more responsibility of that career field that I just said, hey, let me go try this out. That's a power move. That's a power move. Okay, guys. All right. Then you let your pride call the shot. All right. If you're going around, you need to make a power move when you're like, I'm not doing that. Same example. I've been managing political programs for 17 years. I'm good at what I do. I can do this job with my eyes closed. Campaign finance law, I got this. What fundraising, I got this. I could have let my pride get in the way. I could talk about all my accolades. I could talk about all of the successes, the fundraising successes I've had. I can talk about all the big companies I work for and manage their PACs. I can talk about all the millions and millions of dollars that I've raised. I can be really boastful. I can push my chest out. I can talk to you all about that. But at the end of the day, that course was over. It was time to make a power move. Who cared? Who cared? Why am I going to let my pride hold me back? That's toxic behavior. Remember we talked about toxicity and it's all about me? When you got that pride in the way, that's toxic behavior, and toxic behavior that you are exhibiting. All right? No one's going to rescue you. You got to do this yourself. Sink or swim. That's all I love. That's been like one of my favorite sayings for a very long time. I'm either going to sink or I'm going to swim. And every time I swim, and I get awards for the swimming that I'm doing as I'm learning along the way. But that's faith and that's God. I mean, there's nobody else that I can give credit to that. So you're going to either sink or swim. No one's going to rescue you. What's going to happen? Okay, if you're out of a job and that bill has to be paid, what are you going to do to pay that bill? McDonald's hiring. McDonald's might hire on the spot. Is that going to take care of that bill? You need to have food on your table. What are you going to do? Your back is up against the wall. No one is there to give you a handout. No one is there to pull you up. No one is there to give you the encouragement and the inspiration or whatever it is that you need to solve your problem immediately. That's when you know you got a power move to make. That's when you got to push all things aside. No pride. Forget that you're not being creative right now. I have to get this done because my life or my success or my next level or my next chapter depend on it. And then lastly, you're out of time. You're out of time. I know a lot of people who are losing their homes. And it was a thing that they did everything. They tried to, work with the government. They tried to work with the mortgage company. They tried to borrow money. They did a whole lot. And at the end of the day, they still lost their home. So they had to do a power move. They had to say, okay, do I just walk away from this home and rebuild and say I put a plan together that in 2, 3, 4 years, I'm going to be back on top. And I'm going to do the necessary things that I have to do to make sure in 2, 3, 4 years, I'm going to be back on top. And I'm going to be back on top with something bigger, better, grander. That's that faith, guys. We talk about spirituality a lot. I believe in God, so that's the only reference point that I can give you. But whatever your higher being that you believe in, you go ahead and substitute my reference points for what you believe in. So when you're out of time, you make that power move. You have to make that power move. And it's all about the mindset. You are not going to be ready to make that power move if your mind is not right. If your mind is not there, if you have not reframed the thought. We talk, Mary Gentile is actually the author of the book of the values that we use at my corporation for our ethics core values. And but Mary Gentile all comes out of her book, Gentile spelled Gentile. And when we talk about voicing our values techniques, and we're teaching our employees how to handle different situations, one of the voicing our values techniques is reframe the issue. So now it's the exact same application here, where we're teaching our employees to let's think about that situation a little bit differently. When you're having to make a power move, when your circumstances, your situation, whatever it is that you're facing right now and you're stuck, you got to start thinking about change that mindset and reframe the issue. Because the solution could be the very thing that you're rejecting. Let me say that again, because I want to make sure those, as we say sometimes in urban America, those in the cheap seats, I want y'all to make sure that y'all heard me when I said that. When you're way up in the cheap seats in the back of the stadium. Sometimes the solutions that you are rejecting are the very solutions to get you to that next level. The solutions that you have that you are rejecting are the solution, or that is what your power move is. And when you step out on faith, or you do that and you reframe that issue and you change your mindset and you go forward into implementing that solution and fulfilling that solution, things will change drastically. But if your mindset's not right, if you haven't acknowledged what some of the things that's holding you back, We're going to keep on the whole reference of Erica Badu, Bag Lady. I was listening to that song just yesterday. I was like, oh, I don't have to get licensing rights so I can play it on the Chronicles. I love that song. I'm a huge Erica Badu fan, you know. But reframing the issue, reframing, and then we're going to talk about, saying yes to the solution on your terms with that new attitude and a new time frame in mind. Let me say that again for those in the cheap seat. All right. I am urban tonight. I love it. All right. We're going to reframe the issue. Saying yes to the solution on your terms with a new attitude and likely a new time frame in mind. These are the things that we have to do when we're making a power move. So let's come up with a couple of more examples of a power move. I told you guys about how I did a power move when I moved to a new city. And let me tell you guys, I've been back in the Washington, D.C. area for 2 months, 2.5 months now. And I miss Texas. I'll be honest. I'm home. I'm with all of my friends and family. I love being here with my friends and family. I like my job a lot. I love my house. All of these blessings, but I miss Texas. And I'm thankful for that experience in Texas because it brought the best of me out. It sparked creativity. So sometimes having to do a drastic move like that to go somewhere that you've never been before. And then I found out I had family there, but they lived so far away, and I had so much going on with myself because I was dealing with all of the other stuff that we started the series out with. I really didn't have a good chance to connect at an even stronger level. But now I have family that every time I go back to Texas, I make sure I'm going to visit. So start thinking about that. That's a power move. Having to move in with a parent or a sibling or a friend for a short amount of time while you get your financial situation together. Picking up a second job. Or when you're talking to someone who's in network marketing, launching your own network marketing business. You have a why. We're going to talk more about that later on in this series about developing whys and success factors and determining different companies to look into if you're interested in network marketing. If you're an alcoholic, maybe that's going to an AA meeting. If you have a drug addiction, maybe that's going to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. That's a power move. Sometimes you got to spend the money on something that you want versus always trying to be frugal. That's the story for me. That was a direct shot at me. I'm always looking at trying to be conservative and saying, okay, I got to do this, I have to do that. And a lot of times I go without stuff that I absolutely want. And then I'll cry, whatever, like I should have got it. Now, sometimes it's like, girl, make that power move and get it. You okay, you can have it, you're fine. Telling your family no. No, I'm not going to come to every holiday event. No, I'm not going to host an event. No, I'm not going to be a crutch for your situation. No, I have bigger goals. I can't talk to you every day, but I want to make sure that you know I love you and I do talk to you as much as I can. So it's a lot. Those are all power moves. Being true to your feelings, owning your truth, and not letting anyone make you feel bad for being who you are. Being genuinely, uniquely, and unapologetically you. And then laying down an ultimatum. Ladies, this is huge for us. And maybe it's huge for the guys too, but I'm not a man, so I can't relate to your feelings. But I can know for many of us ladies, we're so emotional and we're always ready to give a gentleman a second chance. When at the end of the day, if you're not bringing value, I know that I'm bringing value to the table and you're not bringing value. Why am I wasting my time? Why am I shedding these tears? Why am I going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole? So laying down an ultimatum for your life, your happiness, doing what makes you the best person that you can be. That's a power move. That's a tough power move, but that's a boss power move. When you're saying, I choose me, I choose me. God, that was powerful. Just saying that, I choose me. So we're looking at a couple of things. I was going to give you guys, 3 steps. And again, it's from my favorite psychology today, and it's talking about how to make the best decisions every time you need to make a power move. So you know that you're in that no-win situation. You know that your back is up against the wall. You know that, the only thing you can do is do something that's bold to get you to that next level. But you want to make sure that what you're doing that's bold is also strategic. So, number one is you have to determine that it's time for you to back up from the situation and get some air. You have to determine that your back is up against the wall. If you haven't worked, you have to determine what I'm doing is not working. So let me back away from this because obviously it's not working, and let me look at the bigger picture. So that's the number one. I always talk about having that candle, always talk about having that tea, always talk about having that sacred space. This is one of those times where you go into your sacred space and you pray or you do whatever it is that you do to give you your calmness. And you say, I'm coming up for air. I'm doing that inhale. I'm letting it out. I'm not going to let this situation overwhelm me again. Second thing is that you want to gather the facts versus the assumption. All right, I made a power move to start broadcasting with the Chronicles. So now that changes the books that I'm reading. That changes the different trainings that I'm going to. That changes to who I'm seeking constructive feedback from. You guys can email me at angel@angelriley.com. Give me constructive feedback. But make sure that you're getting the facts and not assuming. Oh, it's fine. I don't have any metrics. I've never talked to someone who's done anything like this before. I've never spoken to someone who marketed a radio show. Don't assume. Use the facts. And don't be afraid of the facts. Sometimes for me, it's a transparent moment. Sometimes the facts scare me. I'm like, I don't want to know because if they're not good, am I going to have my big girl panties on and be able to take it? Then the answer is always yes. All right? And then make a clear decision and carry it through. If you're going to make a power move, you have to make a clear decision. It is in the Bible. Write your plan plain and clear. I say it all the time. I have to do it for myself all the time. I have to write it down. And when I write it down, sometimes my thoughts are racing, all over the place. And I'll write it down. I can write all of that I have in my head on a piece of paper. But then as I start writing, then all of a sudden I'm crossing things out. Then all of a sudden I'm putting arrows and moving things around. And then by the time I finish doing this data dump out of my head and writing it down, I suddenly have this beautiful master plan. I suddenly have direction. I suddenly have clarity. So make sure that when you make that decision, when you know it's time to do that power move, you write it down. And you write it down plain and clear. And that's why we talked earlier about having that personal board of directors. Because that personal board of directors are going to be that group that you can go to and you can confide in, and who's going to have your back. You're going to have that cheerleader. You're going to have the ones that's that resource for you. That one that's going to help you continue to be strategic. That one that's going to have you connect you to everyone that you need to be connected with. But you got to write the plan down. Write it down plain and clear. So when you make that power move, you're going into the right direction. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode of knowing when to make that power move and the 3 steps that we got from psychology today of when you're making that power move, how to make it. That's key. If you guys have any feedback about the show or any questions, always feel free to email me at angel, that's ANGEL, @angelriley.com. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this episode of the Chronicles of Doing Too Much. I can't wait to talk to you guys on Wednesday. Good night.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you define your own success. Believe you can do it, build a solid foundation, know your circle, and soar. Until next time.